Greetings, greetings, humanity, and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and this is our campaign of Bookhounds of London, a setting framework for A Trail of Cthulhu by Pelgrane Press. We're going to go ahead and go around and say hi to everyone who's currently with us today, and see who they are and who they're playing. We will start with Celeste. Hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm Celeste. I am still hashing out my social situation, but I'm here and I'm playing Phineas, who uses he, him pronouns. I use they, he pronouns. And this interesting little flock of employees at his bookstore is already starting. It's funny because the one who got into trouble first was not the one that I was expecting to get into trouble first. She was supposed to be the good one. So, no, absolutely not. Yeah, we're already way outside what I expected, so it's a good time.
Excellent. And now we will head over to Danielle. Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle. I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character, Evie DeVere, who also happens to be the one who has gotten into the most trouble already. And I feel like I have to say, she only looks like she would be the one least likely to get into trouble. That is a perception only, and I've proven that by being the first to get into trouble. So, looking forward to getting into more.
Good. It's good to break down these barriers of perception. It's important. And now we'll head over to Lynn. Hello.
Everyone, I'm Lynn, Grimlock pretty much everywhere. She, they, and tonight I am playing Lillian Starling, she, her. The one that is probably the least least likely to get into supernatural trouble. She believes very much in only sample enough merch and know it's legit. Do not indulge in it. But, she will bring across, more mundane trouble, people maybe trying to shoot her or something.
These things happen. And unfortunately, Hollow could not be with us this evening, but we wish him well. Who am I? Tonight I am playing. I am playing Kenneth Finlay. He, him, and he is a criminal or an ex-con at the very least. And now, before I hand things over to our keeper, you may see us use safety tools from time to time. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we're discussing things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may make references to abuse of power, asphyxiation, betrayal, body horror, boiling fluids, cannibalism, chemicals, classicism, cults, darkness, drowning, drugs, eldritch horror, explosions, exposure to harsh weather or hard vacuum, fire, gaslighting, glass, gore, greed, harsh light, heights, hostility, imperialism, insects, loud noises, mental illness, murder, mutation, nightmare imagery, poverty, the demonic, theft, vampirism, vehicular accidents, and war imagery. It may also have the potential for PvP action depending on the player's choices. If you'd like to see that list at any time you're watching live on Twitch, you can go in the chat and type !bookcw, and that will show up there in chat. It's also going to show up periodically on rotation automatically. Also, please remember that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. And now, without further ado, we shall hand things off to our keeper, Pope. Hello.
Hello, everyone. It is great to be back. First, let's kind of recap where and when we were. It's currently 1931, Valentine's Day. It was a relatively slow afternoon at the bookshop over on Fleet Street in London. One of the regulars came in complaining about a release of Dracula on this day, and that there was a less than legal viewing of said film going to be happening later on that night in the basement of the pie shop across the street. Traded a book of little repute, but maybe one that opens to strange vistas, in exchange for trying to divest London of as much about witch hunting and vampirism as one could possibly hope to, ahead of the vampiric sensation that is about to grip both the US and Europe. In so doing, a number of just, relatively mundane things happening. Loving couples, exchanging purloined chocolate. Evie trying to figure out what to do for their paramour and picking up some free tickets. Lillian, when people's back is turned, maybe taking one or two chocolates for Evie's paramour. And, just typical like bookshop stuff. And then the weather got weird. And then, Scotland Yard called about, Evie's father going missing. It's interesting. Evie, you would have 2 pence, as both your parents have gone missing. It's not a lot of money, but it's weird that it happened twice. And then, of course, once Julian, their regular, had left, Tias could not help but see if this strange tome of ill repute, was interesting. To which, he started obsessively reading and then found himself not in the shop. Not that anyone noticed. But while Matthias was on a light vacation, Kenneth saw some very strange paintings, where his love works. One that reminded him, strangely enough, of Vivi, who just so happened that around that exact same point was following a strange smell upstairs. And, again, it's an odd bookshop. There's, you have windows that may or may not allow you to see ghosts. And people started seeing things. Weather got strange. And when last we left off, rope had been procured. Evie, Kenneth, and Matthias were all upstairs, leaving Phineas and Lillian, who are completely oblivious to the majority of the strange goings on, downstairs. And Evie, you had finally peeked under the window after getting space, and you saw your mother's eyes, and I believe you screamed. Yeah. And that's where we pick up.
I think
So,
Hearing Evie scream, Phineas is going to immediately break from behind the desk and head upstairs as fast as he can.
It's worth pointing out that there is a word in the screams. It's not like she's just screaming in distress. She's specifically screaming mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Lynn's gonna look at Phineas and just shake her head and just like, can't have a normal one around here.
Phineas is gone.
So Lillian's been
Meow.
left
Oh,
to her own devices. This is
she'll kind of like make her way, like not as fast as Phineas, but you know.
yeah. So fun fact, with the scream going out, it's definitely grabbing everyone's attention. In this moment, of everyone's attention being elsewhere, so is Matthias.
Oh, fun.
He just vanished again.
He's just gone.
Yes, he's just gone.
Fun.
Also, that little burnt rune underneath the window. Now it's not even there anymore.
Oh.
Good. Great.
That's more for our audience, less for you. You are all very distracted.
We got lots of stuff to keep track of.
So Evie, just for my own clarity, what are you doing in this moment?
You mean after screaming?
Yeah.
Well, so you said that not only did she see her mother's eyes, but she could hear her mother screaming on the other side of the window, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like the eyes were like right on the other side of the pane, right?
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In that case, after she's done shouting, she will turn around looking for the two gentlemen who are in the room behind her and be like, "You've got to help me get this window open." And she's like going to start like hands under, doing her best to shove the window open further.
And Kenneth's just going to step forward and just be like, "I don't know that this is a good idea." And he's gonna. Can I see anything through the window, like over her shoulder?
The rain is really torrential at this point. The thunder and the lightning intensifying. The rain making visibility out the window. I said before, 10 feet. It's about the same, but you can hear on top of the torrential downpour, the howl of the wind, the distinctive thudding of hail. London doesn't really get hail that often. Yeah. It's getting very, very intense. The sounds of howling wind. And Phineas, as you get upstairs, you, who are less in a full-on adrenaline dump situation, just one of, awareness that something is awry. You can not only hear the hail, but you can hear just how hard the wind is blowing. As you can hear this building, which has been here for quite some time, very sturdy, stout construction. But you can hear the tiles on the roof straining in this moment. The windows elsewhere throughout the building, anything that's slightly loose starting to clatter. So Kenneth, Evie, you really want to get this window open, right?
Evie does. Evie's not thinking straight and is somewhat manic at the moment.
I mean, that's more than understandable. This sounds like a group athletics test in this moment.
Something I'm super good at.
Yeah. And since you're the one with the great impetus behind it, you would be the one leading this.
Okay. What does that mean? I've never played this system before.
Well, we're getting into something that the system refers to as piggybacking. It's when a group of investigators act in concert to perform a task together. You designate one character to take the lead, or in this case, I have, and you make a simple test, spending any number of your own pool towards the said task. All other characters may pay 1 point from their relevant pools in order to gain the benefits of the leader's action. These points are not added to the leader's die result. For every character who is unable to pay their piggybacking costs, either because they lack the pool points or don't have the ability at all, the difficulty of the attempt increases by 2.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I do have points in this. Apparently, you passed me. Thought this might be relevant at some point in the future. So walk me through how the roll works. It's a D6,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, you're rolling a d6. You can spend point for point to get the benefit of your points. They
Got it.
refresh each session,
Got it.
not necessarily
Okay.
each day or scene.
Okay. So if I have 2 points in athletics, I could spend both of my points to get a +2 to my D6.
Yes.
Fantastic. And I need a 6 to succeed.
Well, that depends. What does Kenneth have athletics?
Oh yes.
Would you like to spend a point?
Well, it's like I guess I have to decide what he wants to do. I suppose that if he tried to explain that there was a vision about you about this going bad,
Mhm.
But he went ahead and he gave her the rope anyway. So I think he hesitates for a moment, watching her like trying to open it. He's like, all right, he'll come help. And so I'll go ahead and spend a point of athletics
Okay.
as well.
Now, since you spent the point, yes, the DC of this test is 6. If you hadn't, it would have been 8. So you roll a d6,
Okay.
you add your 2 points,
Yep.
and then we see what happens.
So do I just add my 2 points, or do I add another
No,
point?
you just add
for-
his 2 points, but I'm keeping in mind that you have another well-built athletic individual helping you against another place that is trying to foil you.
Okay. So I'm just adding my 2 points.
Yes.
All right. 7.
Ah,
Haha.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't know if you guys really want me to succeed right now, but I do.
Yeah, you succeed. Just as Phineas gets in the room. So, as some of you have experienced with me running before, I have news.
oh dear.
Congratulations, you've gotten the window open. What is on the other side of the window, you ask? I am glad that you have asked. It's not rain. No. It's not your mom.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was the case too.
So you've gotten the window open. You see for a second. And Kenneth, you also get to see all this. So keep that in mind. Phineas, you're sort of just entering the room. There's a good bit of distance between. So you not quite there. You just get to see sort of like the reactions from behind of Evie and Kenneth in this moment. As Lillian, I think you just are upstairs at this moment. So, there is a wide, very gray vista below, even below where the street would normally be. It goes down further and further, giving you the impression that you are in some sort of tower. You hear this low, droning tone. If Hull were here, I'd have him give me a low D flat. Just this bong-like sound, constantly droning. Almost droning out the sound of the screaming. This choir of screams. As you look down below, you can see what the two of you have seen for a long time since working here, this feminine outline. But the outline is more defined, Evie. It's definitely the outline of your mother. Not too far behind her is an outline of a masculine figure. It is most definitely the outline of her father. But there are also a number of other figures behind them as they're being chased through this labyrinth. Barely making out that they are clad in black. And they are definitely chasing them, but their legs aren't moving. They are most certainly catching up to them. I'd say this is about, you have a good 150 yards up view of this. And at the same time, that droning sound is getting louder. Screams are getting louder. And then you hear the fluttering of hundreds of wings. What's everyone doing?
Evie, good God, girl. What is going on?
She doesn't turn around when she hears Phineas. And I think if she can see her mom, she's shouting again, like yelling for her mother. And then if that doesn't get an immediate reaction, she's like, Phineas, I need, or sorry about Phineas. Kenneth, I need the rope. I need the rope.
Phineas runs over and if you're okay with this, he grabs her by the shoulders and is trying to pull her away from the window, is clocking that the window is open and that's not right, and is like trying to pull her away.
Yeah, she will fight tooth and nail. Admittedly, though, she's not a very large woman. So
yeah,
Phineas is an old man.
In this very moment, Kenneth, with these two fighting, that painting all of a sudden makes a lot more sense.
There's a moment where she's like up against the window, kind of like
he is
being grabbed from away from the window. That's right.
And in that moment, as Lillian enters the room, the window slams shut.
Yeah.
Evie lets out the loudest scream you have ever heard when the window slams, and was trying to claw her way out of Phineas's arms.
And at that moment where you're clawing and the window slams shut, just in that moment where Lillian steps through the threshold of this room, the rain stops.
All right. What
Evie,
The
calm down. Calm down.
The devil is happening up here.
You don't understand. And she like when she realizes that
Yeah.
the window is shut, like I think there's a moment if Phineas lets go where she will run back over to the window. You
Yeah.
can see her like try like
Yeah.
almost breaking her fingernails trying to get a hand underneath the window and get it open again.
Yeah, I think Kenneth was just sort of just his mind numbed a little bit, just looking at the whole thing. Was slowly trying to testing the window to see if it would open, but not trying very hard. But he was just sort of like testing it. And of course, you come over and you're actually like actively trying to pull it up a lot harder.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it doesn't. I'm guessing nothing happens. At which point, like she just collapses to the ground, like
It is
in a
as
heap.
stuck as it's ever been.
And the view outside is normal.
Oh, yes. It's just a very damp looking view with little bits of hail strewn across the street. Very confused looks from people that are now like just getting their heads outside of doors looking up at like, how did this torrential storm all of a sudden stop?
And Phineas kneels down by Evie. You're right, I don't understand, but what don't I understand?
It takes her a moment to like calm down enough. Like she is like full on crying at this point.
If she allows it, Phineas does try to pull her into a hug and tries to console her.
Yeah, she'll allow it, I think.
Yeah.
Just mostly because she's cracking at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you say that, and when she's had a moment to kind of calm down enough to speak again, she says, My mother has been missing for 6 years. And I told my father, I told him that she wasn't dead, that she was still out there somewhere. And I was just saw her again.
You saw her out the window. Out this window.
Yes, I think that she might be the woman we've been seeing in the window.
And Phineas knows better than to dismiss anything she's saying out of hand.
I saw her again. There was a labyrinth. It was very high up, and she was in it being chased by, I don't know, something. But the point is that she was there. And I think she like cracks again as she's like, but you can kind of hear her saying, like, I almost got to her.
And Phineas kind of like has a moment where he's like, oh shit, did I fuck up? Like, not in those words, obviously, but like, and he takes her hand and he gives it a squeeze. Evie, I believe you. I believe you.
She just like, after a moment, she's like, thank you, but I don't need you to believe me. I need to get her out of there.
Right. Oh, no, I hear you. I do. I don't know how we'll go about it, but I want to help.
Lillian. It's very well established that you are always casing pretty much any place you go into.
Mm-hmm.
Matthias is nowhere to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
The room smells strange. And while you have this beautiful, almost tragic tableau of I can just see Kenneth like leaning up against the wall as like Phineas and Evie are holding each other's hands beneath the window. Just 12 paces. Them are sitting is the book that Julian brought in.
I would hate to interrupt whatever's happening up here, but what's that doing out here? Pointing at the book. Where's Matthias?
Didn't Matthias have it? Wasn't did Matthias have it in it? Because like he was here and Edie did interact with him briefly. Like, was he holding the book when she was interacting?
Yes.
Yeah, he was. He was
Okay.
very interested in the.
Yeah. So just Matthias was holding the book. He brought it.
He came upstairs. He had been reading it before.
Where did he go?
Yes, where did he go?
Oh dear.
Yeah, he just vanished.
I mislike how these things connect. I'm gonna take the book.
Connect or root cause, kind of like she's gonna point her boot toward it. Like she's not making any like motion to go near the book. She knows. She
No, Phineas takes the book. He's
Hmm.
of a mind that things didn't start happening like this until this book came into his store.
Not just that, like, you purchased the book and Julian left.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Ownership has been transferred.
Uh,
Let's
you
whose
want
problem
a-
it is now, Phineas.
Who is the owner of this book now?
I assume Phineas.
The
It's
question.
Phineas's shop.
I mean,
I think that's in character. Like, oh, who is the owner of this book now?
Oh, well, I would assume it's Phineas. It's Phineas's shop. It's Phineas's inventory.
Well, congratulations.
yes, but is that what the book thinks? These things have a mind of their own, you know.
Well, yes, but Phineas, you're the one who purchased it.
That is true. I might need to know what's in this book for good or for ill.
We could have asked Matthias, but it's a distinct possibility that the book ate him.
I doubt it ate him.
I'm gonna do.
Metaphysically ate him.
I doubt it ate him.
I'm gonna do a thing, and stick with me here. There's this thing that I've seen done in other properties that do things with books that involves like just fanning the pages, and it's sort of like meant to be a thing like I can see inside the book, but I'm not really reading it, kind of thing. Like kind of cheesy little, you know.
Yeah.
Read
Fanning
it,
a
not read
page.
it. Yeah. So Phineas is gonna lift it and he's gonna do that. He's gonna just fan the pages rapidly.
You fan the pages, and it's been established that Theus enjoys a good pipe every now and again,
Mm-hmm.
and he strikes me as a man of habit. So it's a very particular brand of pipe smoke. That smell
Mm-hmm.
wafts from the pages,
Mm.
as well as a faint copper tinge of blood.
Mm. Well, that bodes ill.
What?
I smell his tobacco and some blood.
Question. So Evie's an occultist. This is
Mhm.
like creepy, weird books like this are sort of her jam. Has she ever encountered or heard of anything like this before?
Go
Either
ahead.
either in regards to the crazy shenanigans with the window or in regards to Matthias disappearing.
Let's give me a roll and we'll see what comes up.
All right. Occult?
Yes.
Cool.
I believe
I'm
that whenever
yeah.
she rolls a cult.
I was just gonna say that I believe I'm supposed to remind you you get to roll the happy sad die if
Yes, I
I
do.
ever roll a cult. Okay. Yeah, so I have a lot of points in the cult. So
Mhm.
I am gonna spend a couple of them.
Delightful.
Good. Excellent.
Five.
News. I rolled the saddest of faces.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Good. Excellent. Yes.
That's
Strap in,
appropriate.
folks.
So just a reminder, which of you all read Mr. Be Gone?
I have not read it. Oh, you mean the in character that we read it? Yeah,
Yeah.
she did. Never mind, I lied.
I had to. I think
Okay.
I had to praise her a little bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah, if I remember correctly, Kenneth was the only one with the good sense not to.
Yeah, we're not the brightest bunch like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So as for people disappearing, you haven't seen it go this way. You have read not just Mr. Be Gone, but also other tomes where things come out,
Right.
not necessarily go in.
Mhm.
Usually a ritual has to be performed for something to go in. And it's usually just something as simple as reading or unbinding, or worst thing one can do with one of these books is read things aloud and stuff comes out. But things going in, that's kind of new, especially with no ritual involved.
Unless there was, and we didn't realize it.
As to the window, you know of excerpts in 2 books that describe something akin, but your memory is not entirely clear. One of those books has a very distinctive reputation, and to your knowledge, there is not a single copy of it in the country. And that would be the Necronomicon.
Shocker.
The second book, there's been a few printings of it. It's not one that's common in Britain. Most of the copies, to your knowledge, are primarily still on the Italian peninsula. It is a supposed treatise by Saint Agrippa dealing with his sort of rebuttal to what he referred to as new magic, and that the true purposes of magic is for communion with God. but this particular treatise uses Agrippa's name, but almost everybody firmly believes that this is not Agrippa, as it is essentially a manual for communing with angels and other beings that builds on Agrippa's work.
Are there any copies of that book in London?
Yes, but not in your shop.
Okay.
Is there one at the rival shop, Pope?
You know, that's probably the most likely place to find one.
Oh, jeez. I gave him that idea. Sorry, guys. I saw
That's
it
okay.
happen in his brain.
More drama. It's good.
I
It's
watched the neuron fire off as I said
Mm.
that, and I was like, oh, that was a mistake.
I see your brain's thinking about something. Well, just speak up. What's bothering you, or what?
fine. Well, I think that there's a book that might be helpful. It's unfortunately not one that we have in the shop. So we would have to locate a copy.
Hmm.
And I think that they have a copy.
They.
Yes.
They.
Yes.
She's. Lynn's kind of smiling. It's not like. Oh, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
Yes. Well, I didn't say it was convenient, did I? I just said that
No, it is convenient. I was planning on stopping there. I had a stop I had to make there tonight, so
A stop you had to make there.
it's Valentine's Day.
Yes, I see.
Do you think I could convince you to be ever so kind as to see what you can do about procuring the book that we might need?
I suppose I could.
I'll write the title and the author down for you then.
All right. Well,
Phineas has a lilt in his voice when he says procure.
Mm,
You know what he means by that.
mm. And you've also known Lillian long enough that like she would put up more of a fight if it was something she didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, he didn't even have to bribe you with double this month's wages. Like,
Yeah.
he knows you kind of low key are itching.
Because what time is it right now?
It is just now, after everything, all of this chaos. It's 2:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, well. I was gonna head there in a few hours to have to get ready. But give me the information. And then what could I coach it as? As someone who wouldn't know what it was, that I could throw it out there as I'm looking for something. Because I think going there and directly asking for it would make it more costly than I think we would want it to be.
Well, the tome is a book on summoning is perhaps a strong word. It's a tome on communing with beings, creatures. Can you make something of that then?
Yes. Suppose I could make it so that I'm looking for something pedestrian. Yeah, yes, as that's actually a really good suggestion is seance, like seance.
Sure.
Like misguided seance is How about
Yeah, I'm
something I
sure you can
coax it out of them?
invent. I'm sure you can invent a wealthy client who wants to speak to, I don't know, some spirit from the beyond.
Um, actually, I will interject here. This is more things that you guys would know in character, but the players might not immediately come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
You have a regular. You have the good deacon, who would most certainly be someone who would be looking for this book.
Mm.
So if you wanted to pretend that you had a client that was particularly looking for this kind of tome, you have one.
Excellent. Well, I suppose then if we acquire it, we could always pass it off to the deacon afterwards.
Yeah, once we get
That way the shop isn't out any money.
Yes. That could cushion any sort of wheeling dealing that we have to do with it. So it's always good to have someone else we can have secondhand.
Yes, I mean, I just need to consult it briefly.
And who knows, maybe we can have a 2-for-1 with the said book. Once we detach it from us.
It's a good question. Actually, what are we going to, she points at the book that Phineas has. What are we going to do with that?
I assume we were going to sell it, correct?
Well, I would hope so, but in the interim, it's probably not safe to leave it lying around, considering what it seems to be capable of.
Well, obviously, my instinct is to say that nobody else is to read it, but
No one else is. Yes.
however, I do believe I need to at least browse its contents to ensure that.
I don't think you should do that alone, for what it's worth.
Yes, but I don't want to subject any more of us to this.
Well, let me rephrase. I don't think if you want to be the only one reading it, fine. But I don't think you should be alone in the room, and someone should be watching you just in case. There may be something we can do.
Fair enough.
And if you give me a little bit of time, maybe I can take some precautions. Before we start to read it? You start to read it?
Right. Suppose in the meantime I'll lock it up. Make sure that nobody else can get at it. It's not to be out on the shelves.
I think that would be wise.
Should we put it with the more volatile volumes? Or is it fine where it is?
I'd be inclined to say that keeping it separate from the other books might be a good call. This one seems to be particularly active.
Also, put in a lockbox, right?
Yes, and I mean, Edie's been exposed to the occult since she was like a young child. I assume she knows like some kind of like it may not be effective, but I assume she knows at least some kind of like protective something or other.
Measures your mother took.
Yeah, I assume she was exposed to a lot of that growing up and would have learned a lot of it from her mother.
There are means of storing something that is volatile.
Mm-hmm.
The most easy to come by and mundane would be to get your hands on the lead box.
That's how I figured.
And lock the thing up. The next best thing would be to get some wool thread, one that's been spun by hand, soak in holy water, and wrap the book in it.
Okay.
Tying 3 knots.
would it be fair to assume Evie keeps some somewhere just in case she needs it ever? Or would that be a thing she needs to go out and acquire?
Hand-spun woolen thread is not something one normally comes by, unless you're out in the country.
Okay, well, in that case, I think Evie knows what she's going to be doing. I know something that could help, at least to store it, and maybe a thing or two that could help before you take the time to read it. So if you can give me like, I don't know, an hour or two, maybe, while Lillian is getting ready to go to the other shop, and then and then we can try this.
Well, then I feel confident leaving that side of things in your capable hands.
And that's when the bell rings from downstairs.
Oh boy.
I think Kenneth, who has said nothing up until this point, is like upon hearing that, and in that moment of silence, just before anyone else says anything else, he's going to just blurt out, "Oh, by the way, you might have a Nosferatu in the basement."
What?
And then the ring.
Yeah.
And specifically, Kenneth, you hear your main squeeze's voice calling for you.
Oh, I'll just and he's going to start heading down the stairs.
You head down the stairs. She is disheveled and is stark, like most of the color has left her face.
And just sort of start heading up. Nev, you all right?
Yes, is
All right.
you okay?
At the moment, yeah, it's had some problems with the window, but it's calm for the moment. Oh, and yeah, we've lost Mr. Dawn. He's off somewhere else, probably.
Is Phineas in?
Yeah, he's upstairs.
I get him to come down and have him call Scotland Yard.
Oh no. You okay?
There's a
He'll-
mess.
Phineas was probably on his way down anyway because
There's
this is the shop.
like she gives you a look. There's a mess back at the art shop.
and just sort of glance back over at Phineas.
Maeve, it's good to see you. What's going on? You look frightful.
If you'd be so kind as to call the police. There's
Of course.
I can't find the boss, but I found a lot of blood in one room.
Of course. Let me make a call. Do I need to get my firearm?
Yes, I think that's a great idea.
He's gonna get his firearm from out from under the counter where he keeps it, put it on the counter within reach, and make the call.
I think as Evie comes downstairs and see this going on, I assume we have like a small kitchen or something somewhere that we
Oh yeah, no, like
Yeah.
after you get through the labyrinth, there is a small
Yeah.
back room with a kitchen.
Evie takes one look at Maeve and goes, "I'll make you a cuppa, sweetie." And she's like heading straight to the kitchen because she needs tea also.
Yeah.
In this moment of very British distress.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring Nev over to wherever we can just sit her down and.
You have near one of the front displays, there's a table with two of those velvet lined chairs, with little lion's feet. It's where you usually have people like authors in. If they're going to do signings, they'll sit at this little display area in the front.
Just set her down and I'm doing the not boyfriend stuff.
Yeah.
that one usually does in
I
these
think
moments.
Like she's again. You two grew up together.
Yeah.
She is not
Yeah, that's true.
foreign to this kind of
Yeah,
mess.
yeah, that's true. She's not made of
But-
glass.
No, she is stern stuff.
Yeah.
But
She's a Bridgeton girl. She knows.
the fact that it's like you're starting to put the pieces back together, like mess, blood, no body. Yeah, something's really a mess. Like if this was just a hit and there was a body, she probably wouldn't be nearly this disturbed.
Yeah, yeah. But,
Um,
yeah.
Phineas, you make the call. Evie, you put the kettle on, and it's not too long. An officer comes by as you see a bunch of other officers head straight off to the gallery. Then Lillian, you strike me as someone who would be watching outside.
Mhm.
You see a couple officers walk up the stairs into the art gallery.
Mhm.
And then you see two of them rush back out, one vomiting.
Oh my goodness. I think she'll usher she'll usher Kenneth over. It's like, Kenneth, this way.
And
Maeve
he'll
just sort of like waves you off.
yeah, he looks over to make sure Nev's okay, and then he'll go with him. Go with her.
You said that the painting that was up there. I just saw a curious thing. Saw those gentlemen go up as stoic as ever, and then run straight down and empty the contents of their stomach right there, as you see.
Oh,
So
well, I don't know if that was that painting necessarily, because all the paintings in that room are
mhm.
there's a lot of sort of beyond your usual your usual Aleister Crowley stuff.
Mhm.
It's a lot of pain and sort of sexual
Mm.
subject matter, torture kind of thing. Very graphic. And there's a canvas in there that was blank for a bit, but at first it looked like the front of this bookstore with an image of what I now know is Evie being grabbed by Phineas away from the window, as happened just a wee bit ago.
No, that's certainly curious.
But then there was a bit of a
Anything-
flash and it went away, it went blank.
Oh.
So don't know what's on that painting now. But of course, if it operates like any of these other items that we've seen recently, then it's possible that that may be where the body went.
Anything look suspicion or heavy suspicions of anything in your line of work, or let's know if there's any sort of front happening over there across our street.
Oh. Well, I assume Nev has never told me about anything shady happening over there aside from like
The
rogue
customers
screenings of Dracula.
Yeah, the the customers might be shady, but the boss was always clean cut.
Yeah.
Though you specifically you, Kenneth, had suspicions for the longest time because of your education.
Mhm.
That art was a great way of laundering money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There is that thing
Yeah.
that if he's like, oh well, it's there's not really they're not really doing it over there, which
Mhm.
is funny because they're leaving a lot of money on the table. Really, you ask me,
Mhm.
but because they've got they got a perfect setup to do that. The old lots in, lots out with it, but. No, they're apparently not doing that over there. So no, nothing that I've been able to see.
Hmm. Well.
Customers sometimes, I think, even come in inquiring a little bit about it, but the owner won't do it.
Hmm.
It's kind of sad, really.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a little more selective, and whatever selected business they are in has gone sour in some way. Hmm. God, I'd hate to have this amount of cops having around here.
Just as you say that,
Tell me about it.
ting ting ting, as a young officer comes in,
Oh, how can we help you?
uh, just responding to the phone call.
Hmm.
Yeah, you you're
Oh, back here. Yeah, and I'll kind of like usher them in, just like, oh,
yeah.
back here.
Points to Phineas, considering you're the most well dressed out of the bunch
Mhm.
of the men who are here.
Yeah.
I
for
think
sure.
Lillian will kind of like with out of the police is kind of the officers kind of like line of sight, just kind of like make a face of kind of annoyance at this. It's
I excuse me, sir, you're the one who called this in.
Yes, I can give my statement. But you might want to speak with the young lady who came to speak to us that works at the gallery. I believe her statement will hold a bit more weight.
Thank you. I'll definitely get to that. Have you been across the street?
I haven't. She came over, asked us to call Scotland Yard.
Okay. I know, like, the weather's been funny, but have you seen anyone strange in the last couple of hours?
I'll be honest. We had a customer in earlier, and he had the majority of my focus. I haven't had a chance to look out the street, out the window much today.
Oh, well, okay. Well, thank you. Definitely will get more of a statement here in a moment, considering that that the inspector's already been called, so he'll handle most of that. He just sort of excuses himself, heads over to Neve.
Mhm.
Um, you can overhear the conversation. It's very much the same, except that Eve makes mention of a thunderstrike and like everything in the studio just kind of going blinding. And then just blood coming out from underneath one of the doors in the gallery. And seeing that, she didn't try to open that door. She just rushed over here. Nev's a very good liar. Kenneth, you've known this for a very long time. Ah, but yeah, the young gentleman leaves. And if anyone looks out the window, the the proportion of normal folks to cops, that value is greatly increasing in distance as time goes on. Like, like you guys are accustomed. Again, this is Fleet Street. Occasionally, somebody has a dispute with a spouse, lover, etc., and things can get kind of nasty. But there's that level of, okay, they're going to have to take statements from people along the street and get the body out and all. That's like 8 guys. We're now to 20 cops.
Ooh. Well.
Kenneth, you have only seen this in busts.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think you know what? I don't know if you. I think Lillian just kind of like shoots like concerned look toward kind of just like it's.
Evie comes back with tea, and then her eyes about pop out of her head when she sees that many cops on the street.
Yeah, it's lots.
Whatever it is, it must be terribly concerning for them.
There is now sort of like forming on the sidewalk a distinctive pile of people who have gone in and then immediately came back out.
That's
We didn't need our
that's
day
a
to be
lot.
any more interesting.
Clearly something unpleasant going on over there.
I usually have that for a really big altercation.
Unpleasant with a lot of eyes.
Mm.
Hmm.
It is as all of this hubbub is coming. Bell rings.
Mm.
And Miss Fletcher comes in.
Good afternoon, Mom.
Afternoon. Awfully busy over there.
Quite a spectacle.
Quite. They're also terribly pale. I'm guessing someone really had a bad day.
Something to that effect. What can I do for you?
Oh, well, I was wondering if you had gotten in anything particularly of a combination of violent, poisonous, and salacious.
I can have a look. She sounds like she might enjoy the gallery, actually.
She would most likely have critiques. Again,
She's the target audience.
like one of like early on purchases that informed you that this woman is both delightful and not someone to necessarily cross is like she bought out your copies of Desaad's work
Mm-hmm.
Well, that tracks.
as reference material.
Mm.
Mhm.
We don't charge for the privilege of judging. We do that for free.
And in private.
But like you are fairly certain, as it was with how Agatha Christie became like the foremost expert on certain forms of pottery due to her own investigative work. This woman is probably the foremost English scholar on both BDSM and poison.
Mhm.
An excellent combination.
Sounds like a blast.
My kind of woman, to be honest.
Sounds great, but I certainly wouldn't want her scrutiny around here.
Well, like her scrutiny is ever present, Lillian. Like you know how you look when you're constantly looking.
Mm-hmm.
Fletcher is you, but more advanced and
Mhm.
with absolutely no fucks left to give.
Mm-hmm.
Like you still maybe have 2 that you rub together
Yeah.
on a table.
And
She has
for that reason, I would rather avoid like, engaging that amount of scrutiny. So, in now, give your books here. Go.
Lillian just melts back into the stacks
Yeah.
as this woman walks in.
Yeah.
Homer Simpson into the hedges. .gif.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, so we have
Like,
everyone here today.
She is also a tremendous flirt with Matthias.
Oh,
Oh,
Shocker.
he's not here.
Shocked.
well, that's a shame.
She is also one of the few people who have seen make Matthias blush.
Oh,
It's also,
oh.
Okay, that's
Okay. I see you, Queen. I was unfamiliar with your game, madam.
As she's sort of waiting, she goes over to Thurston, which is whom she has named the buck in the window, and has adjusted his bow.
Count on it.
Wonderful.
she loves that goddamn deer.
Lillian, like hearing over the book,
I'm just seeing
just eyes.
the low stacks, and it's just Lillian's eyes on the top of her head.
Like I think Lillian is the only like this woman just engages the hackles on Lillian's neck like at all times. So like does not enjoy her presence here at all.
I cannot describe to you how much joy I am having in this moment. Because I am just picturing this full on as a British comedy / sitcom going on in this moment with all this eldritch horror and terror.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening right now. I could not be happier.
Yeah.
She need to throw a few silly walks in there, and we barreling right into a Monty Python sketch.
We have established our brand.
Oh. No. Now the inspector comes in, who we're going to just have claimed as a Mr. Cleese. Yes, this giant, tall, painfully British man. Come in, ignoring all of you, ignoring the searing judgment of Miss Fletcher, who is just staring at this man with the contempt one would have for an incompetent public servant. As he ignores all of you, just goes straight to Nev and begins taking Nev's statement. But at the same time, you all can tell he is only half paying attention to anything that's going on. His chicken scratch, you can tell, is detestable even from the distances that you're standing.
We like see like his hand shaking.
It's more of just like a twitch, and it's most of you have decent penmanship. You can just tell by the strokes of his fingers and how tightly he's holding on to his pen. There are doctors whose handwriting is far more discernible.
Russian cursive?
No, there is a special circle of Chinese hell for this.
I see.
Where they will just make him do calligraphy for all of eternity.
Probably somewhere in that labyrinth we just saw.
You know what?
Next time we get the window open, it's just a bunch of people being punished drawing in cursive.
I didn't know that was a hell.
I will pay attention in class.
Yeah, just all writing on the blackboard.
I will not reference the Simpsons blackboard sketch.
No, I think we have found a new Gen Z hell. That I am sorry for the nightmares that I have now this cast has induced. Apologies. But yes, he's taking her statement. Phineas, you don't She has cleaned you out of almost everything salacious that you have in the store. There is only like a handful of products. My question to you, one of them is particularly naughty because you have the copy, because it keeps coming back, of Mr. Begone. Do you give Ms. Fletcher that book?
No. I would die for this woman. I can't inflict this upon her.
Fair enough.
We also
just
don't want her
curious.
involved in whatever we're having our business with this book.
Oh, or the other evil book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I will say while this is going on, I think Evie also loves this woman and will gladly engage her in polite conversation near the box as a distraction from the terrible inspector.
And again, Lillian and Fletcher aren't related, but they might as well be. She just takes one look at you and goes, "You've been through it today, haven't you, love?"
It's been quite a stressful morning, yes. Not the Valentine's Day I was expecting, let's put it that way.
Well, hopefully the evening will distract you from whatever is going on, because it's certainly not your love life.
No, that is going quite well. Not unlike some of the other things going on in my life right now.
Very good. Try and focus on that. The other things have a tendency to handle themselves in time. And if they don't, well, you're a woman with a good head on her shoulders. You make a plan, you follow through, and if necessary, you grab one or two friends to help hide the bodies.
We will give like a very polite laugh. Very sound advice, Mrs. Fletcher, as always.
Let's see if your old codger of a boss has gotten me some decent smut.
I'm sure he'll be able to rustle something up for you.
He usually does. Oh, these are lovely. Thank you. She just like takes from her purse, like she's got coins. Gives you fair value. And then Phineas gives you a little extra. Make certain that the rest of them are taken care of, considering that she just points across the way and then heads out.
I love that woman.
Oh, finally.
She's a delight, isn't she, Phineas?
If I hadn't resigned myself to never marrying again, I might.
Well, perhaps you should consider it. It is
out of
Valentine's
my
Day,
league.
after all.
No, I'm a wretch, so well, enough of that.
Like, the inspector's done taking this statement. He looks up at you, Phineas, like he's going to say something, and then just decides not to and walks back out.
We'll say I'm starting to wonder what is going on over there.
You can tell as he comes across the street, he just starts like waving his pen as though it was a means of directing traffic. As a number of these patrolmen all of a sudden become ants that scurry off. As he proceeds to go upstairs, and I can already see the tableau of all of you at different distances looking through the window.
We are the
alongside-
nosiest neighbors.
Alongside all of the different animals and display pieces.
Oh,
Yes, Kenneth?
I have a question now that I'm thinking about this, and I've been sort
Yes.
of watching them across the street. Does it seem, as after a while it probably occurs to Kenneth to watch for this, as suddenly his casing the joint brain comes back on, does it seem as though that so there are like 20 some odd officers
Mhm.
that perhaps seem to be steadily increasing. Do any of the ones that go in now? We've seen the ones go in and come back out and throw up.
Yes.
Are there any that go in and don't seem to come back out?
Yes. And Kenneth, to your trained eyes, those are all the hardened vets are the ones that stay in and
Okay.
haven't come out yet.
All right.
We're talking guys that if they don't die in uniform, they'll be buried in them anyway.
Okay. Does the timing seem at all? Does the timing seem at all keyed to of how long some of those have been in there? Seem at all keyed to the arrival of more police, or is it? Or is
It's
that more
interesting
of a,
when like you're playing the scenes back in your mind after like being devoted, not boyfriend, but keeping an eye out on
Yeah.
things. Okay. First one of the veterans ends up showing up about 10 minutes after the first guy vomited. Then 4 more guys show up. One of them stays. There's 2 in there that haven't left. Then 4 more show up. 2 of them stay inside.
oh,
And now the inspector's going up.
at this point, Kenneth doesn't know whether or not to be happy about this, but I think by this point he can't help but crack a little bit of a smile as he's watching some of this. And he will not tell anyone what he's thinking unless they ask him about that. But he has a happy thought has occurred to him with respect to this thing. But and he doesn't want to tell Nev because he doesn't want to upset her. But it's one of those things where he can't help but be slightly happy about something that he thinks might be happening in there. Because it's happening to coppers.
Kenneth, you look like a man who knows something the rest of us don't.
What? What? No, I try not. Oh, I try not to know anything I am not supposed to.
And if you had, let's call it a theory.
Well, I mean, you're just looking at how many of the veteran coppers have been showing up and how many of them keep coming out and how many of them keep showing up. I mean, this maybe we finally found a thing that's like an actual copper disposal thing. Because it's they go in, they don't come out. So you go in, they don't come out. It's I was just thinking, and then they summon more and more, and now the inspector's going in. I can't wait to not see him come out.
Wait, you think they're actually going into something in there?
Perhaps. Oh, that I wonder if that
Not
means.
just
I wonder if that means whatever room Matthias is in is getting swarmed with police. That'd be strange.
That would be really, really funny. I'm just picturing that mental image of like guys being like, "Where am I?" and then like a whole bunch of cops just fall on him.
It was bound to happen. It wasn't if, it was when.
You don't just think they're all just examining the scene in there still? I mean, it hasn't been that long.
What, they need like 8 veterans in there going around? Maybe. Maybe, but
as
it's
you
a lot.
say, 8 veterans, 2 proper cars pull up. And you see distinctively, in one of them, the mayor of London gets out.
Whoa.
Well, that's certainly interesting.
Is that the bloody mayor?
That room's going to eat the whole government.
Who's going to be here next? The Prime Minister?
One can only
I
hope.
bloody hope. Well, I mean, hope not.
Actually, I need to see who was Prime Minister in 31 as to whether or not that's a happy thing.
Is it Chamberlain yet?
Phineas has his fucking arms crossed over his chest. Bugger me.
Oh, Ramsay MacDonald.
He's Scottish. He's one of your countrymen.
Yeah. Oh, he's one of ours. Yeah. He's, let me see. Yeah, his first two governments belonged to the Labour Party. He led a minority Labour government for 9 months in 1924, and again between 29 and 31. So,
Surely, if there's some kind of portal or something over there, that they wouldn't continue sending people into it if no one's coming out. That's just stupid.
I take it you've not been around law enforcement a lot.
Well, no, but really?
And as you say that, you see the first veteran that went in actually come back out.
Okay, see?
Like, oh well. Slightly disappointed he'll go to start rearranging books and start cleaning up a little bit and just checking on Nev, that kind of thing, because he's lost interest now.
You start seeing folks you recognize from the press showing up.
Oh dear.
Oh, this is becoming a proper scandal. I am disappointed Mr. Dawn isn't here.
He would be enjoying this terribly if he was here.
And just before we go to break, I want to cut to what's inside that building. So we go inside and we see that same long hallway that Kenneth went down to view that small gallery. There is a line of cops along that hallway. The door to the gallery is open. And in what I can best describe as 20 gallons of tomato sauce being hit with a 10 gauge. The room is coated in gore. And on the blank canvas, "My vacation in hell is over, Jack." And that's where we're going to break.
Well, it's that unfortunate day when you realize that you've used up almost all of your vacation days and you got to go back to work. Yeah, got to do what you got to do. All right, folks, we're going to go to break. I've got an interview queued up from a little while ago, but It's about a delightful campaign that went on Prax's channel a little while ago, and that there are people here who were in that, and they're going to talk about that a little bit in that interview. I say they as though I was not doing the interview. Anyway, we're going to go to that, and then we'll be back and see what other delightful things await us. See you shortly. Welcome to the break. I have Dee with me, and we're going to talk about a game, a very specific game. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me back, Jim. I appreciate it.
Yay! So as of this recording, it's been not too terribly long since a campaign of yours that you have been streaming ended. You've been streaming on your channel, Praxagorth Esmophoria.
Mhm.
And that game is called Carousel Court. For folks who may not be familiar, tell us a little bit about this game.
So Carousel Court is a game that, as I pitched to my players and everyone who participated tangentially in this game, it is a Southern Gothic urban fantasy set in a subdivision of Savannah, Georgia, spanning the year 1945 to the year 2000. And each of the players would be playing a house or family in this subdivision, and we would see the transition of over time of these relationships on a small micro level in this subdivision play out and how those things happen. And the bigger thing is the concept that the supernatural exists and all of human history is the same publicly up until 1941, when the advent of World War II is just so much that the supernatural can no longer hide. Just the embedded reporting, the mass shift, the way in which the world changed because of what happens during World War II. And how does that public appearance of the supernatural change the world and then also change the lives of these particular families? And to do that, I combined 2.5 different systems.
Yes. Which systems did you cannibalize for this?
So the majority of it is taken. The house system is taken from Swords Chronicle. The individual player individual members of the house were all also from Swords Chronicle, which is Green Ronin Press's setting agnostic system. I really like it for a bunch of things. I then took the Pendragon current edition. I think it's the 6th, whatever the current edition of Pendragon is, and used it for the generational mechanics. Pendragon is really great at showcasing, because you're playing a knight, but you're also playing all of the descendants of that knight in that noble household. So you kind of have this generational shift in how the effects of what the previous generations did affect the current generation.
Cool.
And then I took luck mechanics from Call of Cthulhu because I needed them for certain things.
Yes. Certain things would happen, as because, well, look, this was a massive project. I need to I need to make sure folks understand here. This project had a lot of moving parts to it. You had world building streams. You had folks. You had folks coming on doing news recordings, and to sort of set the era. You pulled in a lot of different folks for all of these different things. And I just wonder, how did you decide who to reach out to for these different parts of the project?
Some of it was just people. I'm really lucky in people who I know and who can do things. When it came to for houses for the NPCs, I'm like, okay, I need to populate an entire subdivision in Savannah. That would be a hell of a lot for me. But I know some really great storytellers and people like that. I can have them come on and we can do this as if they were creating an NPC house, have them create these NPC house and then give me this little bit of thing. And it also gave me a way to create a more diverse NPC cast in a way that was very authentic. I reached out to people like DM Jazzy Hands and Arvandus and Cypher of Tyr, and a bunch of other people to kind of give this lived-in experience and understanding of certain things that I can't necessarily understand or experience. But at the same time, it really brought interesting dynamics to the world. Even if you didn't see everything that those characters were doing, like my good friend Pooja, I was like, look, Pooja, can you come here? I want to introduce a South Indian subcontinent family. Let's have some fun with this. Or, you know, and so it was a very kind of interesting mix and dynamics, and it meant that I had a lot of notes about making this world feel more lived in, and again, it's Savannah based on as it currently is, but the history has changed because of these supernatural beings that do exist. And so there was a lot of that going on at the same time. And then I was like, oh, wait, I know some really great people who do really great voiceover work, not voiceover work, but like you, Jim, thank you again for agreeing to do a couple of those news recordings. Chris Geary did a couple. I also reached out to Painting Pirate, Chris Canese, for the British when we got to the assassination of John Kennedy. Needed to see a bunch of these things. And then I had, so those were pieces that were happening. And then there were a bunch of other people that I was just like, hey, can you, I want to do this thing. Let's do this thing and see what happens. And as I've been saying to a lot of people, it's a very indie art house TTRPG experience.
Yeah, definitely. And you had Hawkeye doing commercials from like every era.
Hawkeye was like, I want to do this. And I was like, I will happily let you. Do you want it? Cool. And then that also led to a lot of conversation between us about, well, what other things history had changed. Like, okay, you've got magical users who can do a lot of things. Yeah, I'm sure they can make you some kind of tobacco that isn't going to be harmful to your health.
Yeah.
What does that change in history? And what is that, marketing arrangement going to be? And then Hawkeye did a brilliant job with all of them. And then halfway through, he started getting his daughter into doing a couple of the voices. And Bonnie just knocked it out of the park. They're absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
And I think that they did a brilliant job between them.
Yeah. Great. No, that's just so I made sure I say this. It's KY Hawkeye, Kentucky Hawkeye, who also streams.
Yeah.
A lot of us also basically a lot of the folks do that are sort of were pulled from the streaming world. I know that I will say that there was one point in one of our recordings that we started talking about lore and got way up into the trees. It's.
I mean, like there are things that none of the players are ever going to see that I know about that affected the world, because I made each of these decisions for each of the. We would do these time skips, and we would do like 1945 to 1948, then 52, 55, 58, 62, 65, 68, 72, et cetera, and that meant that you were jumping between 2 and 3. Or about 3 to 5 years each time, right? 3 or 4 years each time. And because of that, I needed to know effects, like what would have happened on the world stage, but that doesn't necessarily mean it would affect the players on the small scale, right? Unless it seriously did affect them. And so a lot of the stuff that happened in the background, I would be talking with the opera geek, Kelly. And I'd be like, hey, what do we do about this? And she goes, no, we should do this. And I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. And if we take that, we should go over here. And so it really was a benefit to kind of bounce think about these in progression, but then also bounce them off of people at the time. And thank you for your assistance in that.
I'm very pleased that we developed an entire strange history that involved for the character that I portrayed, and that we have just somehow in that timeline utterly disrupted Tom Brokaw's life, probably. but just given the placement of everything, I don't know. He's probably okay. I don't know.
He's fine.
Well, he's fine. But there's so much. There was so much. But what lest we get up into the trees again, I do want to ask. Also, or rather, I will say, not too long ago before this conversation, I was chatting with Pope, who was one of your players, and I sort of hinted that I may be asking you some questions in a bit. And one of the things also that he wanted me to make sure that I asked about here, Savannah. What led you to choose Savannah? Do you have a particular history with it? Why Savannah?
I did live in Atlanta for a long period of time. A lot of people might know that. I did live in Atlanta. I no longer do, but I did. I know a lot of people in Savannah. One of my good friends from college in Atlanta, her family had land on Tybee. Let me rephrase that. Let me repeat that. Her family had land on Tybee. For those of you who don't know, Tybee is the barrier island. That's the beach island off of Savannah, and is mostly home now to a bunch of like high-end resorts, hotels, lots of serious money. So I knew a lot about Savannah, but it was also one of the things that I was kind of having as this touchstone media that I was consuming to consider, right? Because there's a very particular type of Southern Gothic and in urban. There are two types of urban fantasy in my mind. There's Southern Gothic, and then there's very metro, kind of Chicago-y, slightly New York, big city kind of northern city urban fantasy. Not a lot of urban fantasy on the West Coast kind of oriented, but a lot of it like that Southern Gothic and whatever. And so I was like, okay. So I was going through and rewatching, and this whole thing actually started because I was, had a brilliant idea, and then I talked to people at 2:00 in the morning, and that brilliant idea became more complicated. But then like my touchstone theme and vibes came from rewatching 4 things. Steel Magnolias, because of just the progression of time and how those characters, like, that each of the times you see these characters that they've changed and aged, but you know that these have been year jumps, but you don't necessarily need to know what has happened in those years because you know what's focused on these particular moments. And those particular moments are what's telling this story, right? Like, and you're like, why is she, whatever, I'm here for it. And it worked. So you got Steel Magnolias. Then you've got one of my other favorite films, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, which is just a vibe of how things worked. It's also a very interesting look. It's like, okay, this is a real thing that happened. Like this story actually happened. Oh yeah, and by the way, he went on trial for the same murder 4 times.
Yeah.
And was finally acquitted for liability. Okay. That's a thing. So I was thinking about, excuse me. So I was thinking about where would it be interesting to set this kind of urban fantasy? And I had previously done a Vampire the Masquerade game set in New York. I was like, okay, so I don't want to do a big city or northern urban center kind of game. And I want to do something that's very much a city, but you can still have bounded suburbs. And I wanted a building development that you could go from 1945 to 2000. So I was like, okay, well, in that case, I'm going to go Southern Gothic because I really like the, Interview with a Vampire, the Vampire Lestat, that kind of vibe tied to, Midnight of Garden, Good and Evil, Steel Magnolias, all that kind of stuff. And all of that kind of was Savannah. I was like, we're just going to go to Savannah. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And I think it worked out beautifully. This was a lot of fun to watch. And I'm very honored to have gotten a chance to participate in it. And I really urge folks to go and check it out. If folks want to find this this campaign that you that you and all of these folks put together, where should they go?
You can go on my YouTube at Praxagora Thesmiophoria on YouTube. It is a playlist. You can even start with the original house building and go all the way through the year 2000. The only episode that is not currently up is 1972. It is currently being worked on because editing software hates me.
Ah, yes.
But hopefully it will be up there eventually. And they're in order and labeled. But I think it's a very interesting experience, and I appreciate everyone who is a part of it.
Awesome. Well, was there anything else you wanted to let us know before we dive off?
You can find me streaming every Saturday on my channel on Twitch for book clubs every week, where we talk about the books that I've been reading, and also we're doing a read along of the Cotton Malone series by Steve Berry and the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. And you can also find me on Sunday nights, where I stream my own TTRPGs, depending on whether it's streaming. Always streaming games. It's fun.
Yes, excellent. Well, thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and throw things back to my future self, whatever he's up to. But thanks so much for hanging out with us. Take care. We will see you all of a sudden. We have returned. Hello. Everyone's in the wrong place. Hang on.
I'm
dang
the
it!
keeper now. My story.
Someone turned off their camera. Someone turned off their camera during the break.
It wasn't me, I swear.
All right. We're back to normal now. We're no longer dislocated. But I would like to, once again, I would, however, like to thank Danielle for remaining in the same window. It's very, very, very appreciative of you. Thank you so much for that. All right.
You're welcome. Me and Windows today, let me tell you.
Yeah.
That saying has layers. And to even more thoroughly date this performance, yes, the push to Windows 11 happens this year.
Yep.
So we have come back from break. The inspector and even the mayor have, gone upstairs and have found a message that they are going to have to contend with. But that is not the folks that we're following. We are cutting across the street to the nosiest of neighbors as the theories of policemen just sacrificing themselves to a yawning portal of doom that may or may not have a Matthias at the bottom of it has at least been temporarily disproven. So what are the four of you doing at this moment, aside from leering?
After finishing tea, Evie has some ingredients to go acquire for things. So she will like move the chocolates and everything, the tickets and everything to the back, still not realizing that Lillian has eaten one of the chocolates, and so that they're out of the way in case any other customers, come. And then and she's gonna head out and say, she'll be like, I'll be back in an hour, maybe two. It depends on how long it takes. And then like head out to try to acquire the items that she needs to protect that book and hopefully also to protect Phineas, maybe.
Oh, did you leave the note about the other book, the book I'm inquiring with?
Oh yes, it's on the counter.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, rest of it.
I'll see you later tonight, hopefully.
So Evie,
Mm-hmm.
yes, we'll have the camera like follow her for a moment.
I will just briefly say that Kenneth does not have plans per se, so if anyone needs to bring him along for muscle and or people who know the city or whatever, I'll be happy to accompany. Otherwise, he's just going to hang out in the bookstore and entertain Nev.
Phineas was actually going to offer to give you the rest of the night off to keep her company.
Yeah, if no one wants to bring me along, I'll take it. It just depends on what you folks.
Oh,
He'll-
if we have a time skip, we'll have a time skip to the viewing. But again, first, I think we go and we follow Evie. You have very particular things to get.
Yes, very particular things.
Are you trying to get the box, or are you trying to get the thread in the holy water?
What do I think is easier to get? Like, I mean, Evie's pretty well connected in the occult community. I feel like she might know someone who has like a lead box that she can borrow.
Okay. Now, This is one of my favorite things about this system is that it encourages when an NPC is needed for us to collaborate. So, of your occult connections, would you go to your most reputable or least reputable in this case?
In this case, I think she would. I don't know that it's a question of. I guess it depends on how you define the word reputable. I think she would go to the people whose knowledge on this she trusts the most, who she feels like have the most experience.
Okay.
To see if one, because she thinks they're more likely to actually have what she needs.
In that case, we're going to the less reputable.
Fair enough.
Because you need someone who has been naughty deliberately for a prolonged period of time and still has most of a soul and their mind intact.
Fair enough.
So, with that being the case, please describe to me this individual.
Oh boy. I feel like this would be someone. So Evie went through, technically is still going through, a pretty dark time after her mother disappeared and she left her father's home. So she kind of immersed herself in the occult even more so than she had growing up under her mother's tutelage. So it's probably someone from that like initial year or so after she left her father's house. Likely it's probably someone she has gone to for books before, like on her own, before she started working at the bookshop.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Has your mother always been faithful to your father?
It's an excellent question. As far as Evie knows, I think the answer is yes.
Okay.
Whether or not that's actually true, I don't think that they got along particularly well. And so, her mother did her wifely duty insofar as she had one son and one daughter, and then they kind of that was it, right? They put on a public face together when it was necessary, but when it was just everyone at home as normal, they kind of operated in their own separate spheres. And as far as Evie knows, nothing ever happened, but I don't know, maybe.
Do you have an uncle?
Do I have an uncle? Sure. Her mom's side of the family is French. I could see her mother having a brother that she would still be in contact with.
Younger or older brother?
Older brother.
Okay. So you go to find Jean-Pierre. It's funny. In the stories of your mother and your grandparents, it wasn't the normal story for that family. It wasn't your mother being the wild child. No, that was Jean-Pierre. The older brother who was a bon vivant and the most charming fuck up on the French Riviera. Who has and had very interesting friends. Friends that he introduced your mother to, and in his own way tried to keep safe from. Um, I want you all in this moment, I cannot replicate his voice, to picture a circa 1989-1990 Christopher Lambert. Given everything that Danielle, you have given me about Evie, your family. So him with that slicked back, coiffed hair. Well, isn't this a surprise?
Good to see you, Uncle.
Good to see you. Given the weather.
Oh, you noticed that, did you?
I could feel it in the back of my neck.
Would it surprise you to know that you caught a glimpse of Mother today?
That would be both surprising and unsurprising at the same time. What are you here for?
The shop I work for has acquired a book recently that we think may have something to do with the weather and other things. And I need methods of containment.
You've gotten your hands on something dangerous.
Yes, but something dangerous that I might need to use.
I mean, it is a well-appointed two-story flat. One that was definitely built in the Victorian period, but has kept most of its Edwardian refurbishings. Large grandfather clock. Your uncle strikes me as a cat person.
Yes.
Has 3 cats.
Evie will pet them if they come to see her.
There are 2 black cats and 1 Russian blue.
Mm.
There's the 2 black cats are Victor and Hugo.
Cute.
And the Russian blue is Nietzsche.
In that case, I think specifically when she pets them to greet them, Evie greets Victor and Hugo in French, and she greets Nietzsche in German, because she speaks both languages.
Again, Victor and Hugo are orange cats in black suits. Nietzsche is far more intelligent than any cat has a right to be.
Mhm.
He's quite opinionated. And so they each greet you. You're not foreign to them. As your uncle comes back, you're going to need more than a box. But
I rather thought I might.
I have the usual. However, how's your Greek?
My Greek, perhaps a little rusty, but not bad.
This is a small journal written by one of Aquinas' students who gotten himself into some funny trouble. It has a number of treatises on warding circles.
Oh, perfect.
I would strongly advise following the instructions in that book. And then making certain that you put the damn box in the center and do not disturb it unless you need to.
Well, be sure to do that. And if someone needed to read the book at any point, would any of the circles or the words in that book help?
I mean, depends on what you mean by help. Keep
Uh,
everybody else around safe? So
That and
the individual inside?
okay. Well, I was hoping for something that might keep someone on this plane of existence, but I'll take what I can get.
If you're dealing with something that had that much to say, it is easier to keep it contained, but there is a price for entry. That knowledge does not come for free.
Hmm.
Now, given this has to do with your mother, if you want to, I have an old acquaintance over in Massachusetts. I could write him.
I would take any help that I can get at this point. I mean, it's been 6 years, and this is the first good lead I have. Speaking of which, did you know father has gone missing?
No. Suspected? Yes.
I think I saw him too.
I wouldn't be surprised as much as they didn't get on later in life. When they first met, they were truly devoted to one another. I have a feeling that the two of them are far more joined than either of them understand.
I suppose that makes sense.
I tried to deter your mother from some of my foolishness, but she was insistent in learning as much as I do, if not more. And I wouldn't be surprised if, without his knowledge, she had a separate ceremony aside from the Christian one. Those have a way of having more teeth metaphysically.
I would not have put that past her.
Again, they were in love once.
You don't happen to know anything about a gray labyrinth under a tall tower? Wails of lamentation, screaming, loud, low, humming tone. Any of this ringing a bell at all?
That is a very particular realm of hell.
So that's where Mother is, I think.
You're looking into La Marchand's work.
Yes.
Evie, I know better than to try and deter you. I have learned that lesson. But I am telling you, while there may be hope, the price to be paid is more than a life. It is lives and more. The Leviathan does not deal fairly.
Surely there must be some way to get her out.
Oh, there is. There's 13 ways to get her out. All of them bad.
And you're not going to tell me what those 13 ways are you?
Noir was a toy maker. He was commissioned by nobility that we may or may not be related to make some puzzles. He survived in making 6, but his knowledge did not die with him. And, well, hedonists always want to push the limits of sensation. And so others picked up his work, the works of that same French line, and in time 7 others were made. Collector's items amongst those who understand their value. But all of them, they are tricks. You get what you ask for. Not what you want, not what you desire, what you ask for.
Maybe I just need the right question.
Every question has multiple answers. So does every demand. There's a reason I haven't been able to walk fully standing up since I was 17.
You had one at one point.
No. But I knew someone who did. Orb. Bejeweled, very much harkening back to Byzantine-style art. I suspected the maker was Greek. Cabochons for days. But it eventually consumed him. And then it didn't stop there. It took each member of his family, one by one. And then the guardian of said cursed thing showed up, and it was gone.
Are you telling me? Are you telling me to just let mother rot in there?
No. I would never say such thing. I am just spelling out to you, as I did her, the cost of what it is that you are looking into.
Was she looking into this before she vanished?
The Marchand?
Yeah.
No. I sincerely doubt she was into his work. Or the work of, well, she may have been looking into our familial line. And if the rumors are actually true, that might have driven her interest to something dangerous enough. I wouldn't put it past her to try and summon one of the individuals bound to one of those boxes.
And you think that summoning went wrong?
I think she was trying to free one of them, given the fact That she always thought that there was no cosmological truth, just suggestions.
Hmm.
She
All
undoes
right.
one angel from a binding, and all of a sudden she thinks she can change the world.
Okay. Well, you've given me an uncomfortable amount of things to think about. So, thank you for that, as always, Uncle Jean-Pierre.
You may be getting a telegram from a gentleman named Charles.
Your friend in Massachusetts?
Yes.
All right. I'll
in
keep an
mind,
eye out.
He is never to be trusted.
Understood.
But he may be able to get you better answers than I.
We'll see what he has to say then.
Never trading favors, only cash.
Of course. I know better than to make promises.
Good. Makes one of us.
Well, if I don't learn from those who came before me, I'm making a terrible mistake, aren't I?
Yes. Try only new mistakes.
All right. Thank you for the book. I do appreciate it. And the box.
One last thing. If you're truly dead set on this, there's a trick. It's very simple. He goes over, he has candles lit on his dining room table. And absolutely casually, not breaking eye contact with you, he puts his hand right over the flame. You can smell the flesh starting to burn.
Oh, and it smells like what I smelled earlier today, I assume?
Very much so. The trick isn't that it doesn't hurt. It's not minding that it does. As he pulls his hand away.
Perhaps a trick worth learning, then.
You try and have a good evening.
I intend to. We'll see how it goes. It's been a very busy day.
I have a feeling it's going to get busier. Try and stay safe.
I'll do my best. Thank you, Uncle Jean-Pierre. And she'll give him like the European cheek kisses. Yeah.
Peace. And he sees you out.
Excellent.
And as he walks back in, as you're walking away, camera pans to that Russian blue staring out the window at you as you're walking away. Now, I believe Lillian had someplace to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, first she had to prepare, like she probably left an hour later.
Mhm.
She had to get made up, basically. Different. Instead of her jet black hair, she has a wig of light brown, unassuming dew, and just a plain gray dress. Nice dress. And some fairly thick reading glasses. But she's ready. And taking that note that Evie left, we'll head over there. Knowing that she has a limited time that he will still be at the Store.
Yes, you would think that.
Hmm.
You get to the store. It's closed.
Hmm.
It shouldn't be closed. But it is all locked up and looks like it has been for a while. Not days, but it's locked down tight.
Hmm. What the hell is happening over there? She will. You know what? She's gonna look in the window, see if there's anything that she can kind of discern from there.
From the window, go ahead and give me a quick roll.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're getting into the juice of the system.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this, if you have, say, for instance, forensics, or streetwise,
Oh, I have streetwise.
yeah, those two will give you the most here.
Okay. I'll burn 4 on the streetwise.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll. Okay, so I'll give
8.
you that's a lot.
Mhm.
All right. So things that you notice. Most of the incredibly eye-catching books, for those who are in the know,
Mm-hmm.
not near the window at all.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
There are some that are behind the sales desk.
Mm-hmm.
You can even see from the window there the sales desk is also a display case. The thing to note is what's in the display case is all changed. The books in there are quite valuable. You also know they're quite deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Each of those were referred to as arsenic books.
Oh.
They are bound with something that is a green dye, very popular for an earlier time. Arsenic green. Each of those books, if mishandled, will kill.
On the front display. Curious.
You also notice, because you broke 6, you're being watched.
By who?
There is
Or what
someone
direction?
across the street that looks like a vagrant, slumped down by a stoop. He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't moved, but you can tell he's got his eyes on you.
Mm. What is there sort of establishment that he's what kind of type of establishment is he or building is
The building across from the bookshop is or was a private residence.
mm-hmm.
It's been on the market for months. still has yet to sell.
Mm-hmm.
But it is all locked up. The windows are thoroughly covered. And it has I want to say, 8-step walk up
Mm-hmm.
to get to this 3-story. And where the stairs meet the building, he is pressed up against in those shadows in the way that most people would just walk on by.
Mm-hmm. This turn of events has made Lillian's mood a little softer. You know what? She's looking forward to this, and she's not really in the mood to play, and she will walk toward them.
You get halfway across the street. And then that figure bolts. Running faster than you think. Do you try and pursue, or do you break it off?
Gonna break it off. There's running at the speed that they're running. I'm not gonna be able to catch them. None.
Yeah, you
Not on a
see
good day.
him bolt down the street, and then, with the grace of an Olympian, as he gets to the end of the street corner, he was going at full speed sprint, good runner's form, and then pivots off of one foot with seemingly outlooking, and then hops behind cover. And then 1, 2 beats, you can hear him continue running.
Someone like that would have. I've only been able to caught them if they wanted to be caught or wanted me to chase after them. Could be any number of reasons, but I'm gonna make a lot of noise banging on their front door. Excuse me? It's a bit of an emergency. And just like not even like kind of like the loud, but also kind of like the grabbing the handle, kind of like shaking hard sort of thing too. It's banging. It's like that sort of.
You shake the handle. The
Mhm.
lock is sturdy.
Mhm.
But also, I mean, you've gotten into places that you weren't supposed to be.
Mhm.
If you brought Kenneth along, he could probably have kicked down the door.
Mm.
Not the best place to be seen picking a lock, but you probably could. But you might have better luck trying to find another way in.
Yeah, the front isn't. There's usually like some sort of secondary entrance, and I'm more apt to like try that one. So right here, it's still like early afternoon.
By this time, it's like, I want to say like 4:30.
It's still bright. It's still light enough that like the front door.
But if you go down the side alley, you find, again, not the back of the building, because this building is actually has 2 sides.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another storefront on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
But you go down the side alley and you find the basement.
Actually, you know
entrance.
what? I'm going to say something before I do that. Are the establishments next door to them open still, or are there anything that
It's a bakery that usually closes by 2.
Okay.
Then the next one down, tailor shop by appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And then further down from that would be, again, this is a mixed semi-posh area.
Mm-hmm.
That one is a lawyer's office.
Mm-hmm. Taylor's by appointment probably wouldn't
Barrister.
be.
Barrister's office.
Okay. No, those are going to necessarily be
Barrister's office
helpful for me
is still
for.
open.
Yes, but I don't think they're far enough away where they wouldn't have casual knowledge of whether or not the store is closed or whoever when they left. So that's a lot of the picture. So rear entrance it is.
Well, it's more of a side entrance. You
Or
find
side
a-
entrance, yeah. The
a-
alternate entrance, yeah.
you find down the side like there is essentially a basement entrance
Mhm.
To this conjoined building.
Mhm.
You go down. If you try the door, it's locked, but also
Actually, before I try lock and put my ear next to it and just kind of see if I can hear anything.
it's quiet.
Hmm.
There is a very musky smell coming from the area.
Mhm.
A little bit like decay, but not incredibly strong.
Hmm.
Also, a faint whiff of mildew.
Hmm.
So, would you like to try and pick the lock?
Sure.
All right.
That is lock. What was it? What?
Locksmith, if you
Okay.
got.
Yep, I have locksmith. Yeah, burn those. Add to that. Or use up.
Okay.
Yeah. Ugh, 3.
You get the lock open,
Mm-hmm.
but there are two consequences.
Mm-hmm.
First, um, not the pick itself, but your tension rod breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Second is that as you open the door,
Mm-hmm.
this thing hasn't been opened in a while. There is a very loud creak.
Mm.
But you're in.
I am going to look for any space that might have been his. Like, I know sorts of, yeah, like items that he mostly has. Like his workspace or his personal space here.
Takes you a bit. You end up
Mhm.
going up past the ground floor to the first floor. And that's where you find office spaces.
Mhm.
You know he is a creature of habit. He keeps old newspapers. There's a stack of them in the corner of the room. Looks like, again, he hasn't been here, but not for like a long period of time, like for like based on the smell of like eaten lunch.
Mhm.
And again, American, so he drinks coffee. The used napkin with the coffee stain on it.
Mhm.
Um, that hasn't been there for too long.
How long do you think? Do we think?
3, maybe 5 days.
Oh, that's no good.
But like if you start like rifling through his desk, like A lot of things have been cleaned out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, it's American, he's messy. Like most of the stuff that you would take if you're going to an estate sale, auction, whatnot, all that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But also some of the stuff that he would normally leave behind, say like spare watch, spare ammunition for his gun,
Mm-hmm.
all that's gone as well. There's still office stuff, still a photo of the two of you in the small drawer, underneath some of like backup copies of say like his passport and a few other things.
Mm-hmm.
But so he didn't clean everything out,
Mm-hmm.
but the stuff that would be important isn't
Mm-hmm.
here.
I'm gonna look around and just see if I can ascertain anything of where the hell they all are. Because if the store hasn't been opened in a while, well,
Yeah.
know where they are. If I can.
You flit around. Go ahead and either give me a forensics, evidence collection, or say a library use or bureaucracy tests.
Oh, library use. I'll do that.
Okay.
Or let's do bureaucracy. Let's do that. That
Okay.
sounds
Bureaucracy test.
okay. There's no reason for me to do these. 10.
Oh. Okay. I have news.
Mhm.
So, it's not in the normal place that you would find these things. It's actually you go out to like the main floor. It's actually in that little space underneath the till
Mhm.
that you find some notes and a scribbled down address. The address is interesting because it's in Edinburgh.
Mhm.
Looks to be, by the notes of it, your own familiarity with the area. Not too far away from the university up there. The university there specializes in medicine and dentistry.
Mm. Hmm.
Oh. But you also see like a bit of shorthand notes in his handwriting underneath it. The shorthand that you can discern. Possibly haunted.
Mhm.
Definitely watched. Expect trouble.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Hopefully, it comes back in one piece.
In also like flitting around. it looks as though they have cleared space for a hall.
Oh, bring
Like
something back.
a significant amount of shelf space has been created
Hmm.
and left blank.
Interesting. Well, that certainly puts a damper on the evening. Won't be here, but well, they intend to come back at least there. But who knows when that is? But it wouldn't hurt to look around and see if they have it.
Now give me that library use test.
Hmm. Oh. Time to burn some stuff. Same thing. 9.
Well, good news, you found the book Evie sent you to find.
Mm-hmm. Bad news.
No, better news.
Mm.
You also found where they have placed some of the eye catchers
Mm.
away from the prying eyes in the front of the store if you wanted a few things for the road.
Which one of these? I'll take one that I think would be of some value to him, basically.
To him.
Yes, specific.
Okay. Give me a sec. I actually have to look something up real quick.
Can I just say, Lillian is a trifling ass bitch, and I'm here for it. I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
She finds
And boy,
it
that-
extremely funny that he still has a picture of us, as much as he hates.
You find, let's see here. Where is the book? I need the right book. It's not a book. You find a pamphlet. No, you actually find, no, this is a book. It would have been out by now. You find a signed copy of The Glass Key
Mm.
by Dashiell Hammett. Whom he is a huge fan of.
Hmm. Excellent, great.
First edition. Actually, it's a preview copy.
I hope you didn't read it yet. This would be so much better. So I'll take that. And the book.
So
You know what? I mean, he's gonna know. On his desk, I'm gonna leave the picture. And just write something down.
What you writing?
Miss you. And if I didn't know by your name, I would certainly know by this picture. You miss me too. So find me when you get back. Happy
Happy
Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Lynn, I don't say this to players often. I love you and I hate you.
You know what? You know what? That's funny because he would probably say that too. So that's there you go.
That's toxic.
No, she is. She's. Like,
I know that
don't
gets
think,
thrown around a lot.
I don't like. I
That is
the thing
toxic.
is. Yeah, the thing is, she is like a demon to this man.
No. Demons aspire to this level of toxicity and pettiness.
When we go to rescue Evie's mother, we're definitely taking Lillian because Lillian will be right at home.
But like at this point, they made me go, do you want to sign up? Would you like to join Hell's Army? We have dental.
But yeah, you know what? We got what we wanted, this book. I got something I wanted, and I left the message that I wish I'd left in person, but you know what? This is also good. And I'll lock the thing back up and then leave.
Like again, Hammett's the creator of Sam Spade and Nick and Nora, and particularly the book that you have a preview copy of was like his latest thing, his big latest offering. So if he hasn't gotten to reading it, he'll be furious.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna read it because I'm gonna read it first. If he hadn't read it.
Also,
Are you gonna spoil the ending for him too?
Just hold it over. If he probably, there's a good chance he maybe read it, but just in case.
fun fact for both the audience and for Lynn and Lillian. Hammett had a well-known love affair with Lillian Hellman. Just fun facts. Also, if you want to see some damn good acting, look up the TV movie Dash and Lily. But yeah, so we have seen what Evie's been up to. We've seen what Lillian's been up to. Let's check in on Kenneth.
Hello.
So it sounds like Phineas gave you the rest of the day off. What are you doing?
So, I mean, there is one thing that I have unfortunately remembered looking at my character sheet, and that is that I do have, if I wanted to do an investigative thing, I do have one level of cop talk.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If I wanted to find
Hell
out
yeah.
more about what's going on in there. So, like, there are a couple of ways I could play. I was going back and looking at the... strangely enough, I was going back and looking at the rules. What an odd thing to do. But why would anyone do that? No. But apparently, one of the things you can use it for is to call in favors. Or get information you don't normally get access to. And so, yeah, this is one of those things where it's like I have to decide. I need help deciding here if Kenneth would be enough of a stand-up person. He's not a good person, but if he's enough of a stand-up person because Nev's involved, to actually like swallow his pride and call his parole officer and find out if there's something going on here. Or he knows there's something going on here.
Like,
but to try to find out more.
You do know that you have somewhat of an in, and that if Matthias is in danger, that will make him happy.
Oh, that's true.
Because, as Matthias would say, Bertie isn't a fan of his.
That's true. That's very true. So it's a thing where it's just like he's the last. I mean, Kenneth doesn't like talking to cops, period. But
yeah.
And you know, his parole officer is one of the last people he ever usually wants to see or talk to. But this thing, you've hit on one of the unfortunately few things that actually might grab at any tiny sense of morality he might have, which is you came after his girlfriend. So
after is a strong word.
That's true.
I came adjacent.
That's true. That's very. Just sort of and it sort of had terrible things happen adjacent to his not girlfriend, and so it's like she is the only person he would stick his neck out for. So it's like, and this is a thing that rattled her.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I said, she's a Bridgeton girl. This would not normally... Nothing, I imagine, usually phases her. So...
Not much.
So I think he's going to probably do it.
Okay.
No. Do we want to roll, or are we using the investigative rules for this, where I just spend the point and the thing happens? Okay. So I'll go ahead and spend the point of cop talk. And
so
I will...
You get in contact with
I will call him,
Dimes.
which has got to be really unusual.
Yeah. Like, he picks up the phone. Kenneth, are you in trouble?
Not directly, Officer Dimes. Is it Officer Dimes? What's his rank?
Yeah, it's Officer Dimes.
Yeah, Officer Dimes. But perhaps but we're very close to it, and there are certain issues you may have heard of, or maybe not, that you might want to look and see. There's a thing happening across the street that's a bit. It's looking like it's mounting on something the size of a raid. And I will tell you that of course that Mr. Dawn doesn't know I'm making this call to you, but I suspect it's in all of our interests to perhaps get a better foothold on what's going on. As I think what's going on may be related to the not entirely normal side of things.
Give me 1 second.
Aye.
He comes back on. Only you, Kenneth Finley, would have this level of fortune and misfortune simultaneously.
Story of my life, officer. I mean, I was in there before any stuff happened. If you like, I can tell you what I saw. But
No, I do not need to speak to the inspector. In fact, I would like to do my best not to. That man is a bore at the best of times. Ugh. And yes, it's something damn weird. And yes, they're spooked. They don't know what to do. The mayor's come down on them and wants to try and keep the lid on the damn thing. I can't blame them. But, like, honestly, it looks like somebody decided to deep throw a grenade in there.
Ooh. That sort of room probably looks like the paintings now. Paintings in there.
No one cares about the damn paintings.
Yeah.
They care about the message that was left. Somebody's probably pulling everybody's strings and wanting to get everybody's knickers in a bunch. Trying to be fucking Jack the Ripper. But no, they've made a good and mighty mess of things, and now, in order to keep all the politicians out of everybody's hair, they're having to appoint a special inspector to deal with this. There's even rumors of having to form a fucking task force if another one of these pops up.
Oh, right. So this a message from a fan of the Ripper?
There have been copycats before. It's most likely somebody has decided between all of, the different stories and everything to try and pull one on the damn holiday to make themselves even more fucking important.
All right, well, I'll tell you this for free. You do send a task force in there. You might want them to tell them to be careful around any suddenly blank canvases.
I'm hoping that's all malarkey. And you do your best to make certain that it is all malarkey.
That's a tall order, sir, but I'll do my best.
Just try and keep your nose clean of it. Try and stay away from it, and give Nev my condolences for all the stress, let alone trying to figure out what happens next. I'll try and keep you posted as to next of kin and who's going to pick up the place.
All right then. Thank you.
Just stay out of trouble.
Oh, you know me, officer. And I'll just sort of hang up then immediately.
All right. So, Phineas, I have one question for you. While all of this has been going on, did you decide to start reading the book?
If I trust anybody in this gaggle of individuals that I have hired for this shop, if I trust any of them not to be... One of my pillars of sanity is you can always trust a dishonest man to be dishonest. But if I trust any of these people to not be dishonest and actually have my back going into any supernatural anything, it's going to be Evie. So I am patiently waiting for her to return with her countermeasures.
So, as you are waiting, the book, I want to paint this picture.
Mm-hmm.
You are behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
The book is off to one shadowed side.
Mm-hmm.
There are a bunch of books behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just hear this ka-thump, ka-thump, ka-thump. And then a book falls off the shelf behind you, lands in front of you. We see it bounce, and we see in leather Mr. Be Gone on the cover.
I hate that.
And it opened up, and instead of the normal starting phrases on the page, in not quite infernal script, it just says, "I fucking warned you."
Oh, Jesus.
And that's where we end for the night.
Great.
The book likes you. It's
Yay.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, there we are. Excellent. Excellent.
Oh God, you don't. Oh no, I just had a. Liliness the book to Peter. It's just like,
Oh no.
it's terrible. That's. Oh.
Yeah, there are a lot. There's so many people we could just offload this
No,
book onto.
No. Lynn is actually the book. He can't get rid of it. Just it'll always be here.
It's fair. There's no escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully,
Yeah.
this book that I got will help maybe before the book gets worse.
We can but hope. We can but hope. Well, folks, we're going to go around and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and plug anything you like and give any final thoughts you have about this session. And since we're going in reverse order, once again, we will start with our keeper, Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World Build over on Blue Sky and start playing games. If you want to see more of this silly face, I am a mercenary GM for hire. Currently, I have an ongoing long-form campaign called the British Heresy, set in Dark Heresy First Edition 40K. That is going on at Saturday nights at 8 p.m. There are still 3 slots open. I am waiting on approval currently for both putting up for option a bi-weekly version of the same campaign on Saturday afternoons at 2:30, a weekly campaign of Urban Shadows that'll be at the same time slot, and then a bi-weekly campaign of Exalted running alternate to the second Meridius Heresy on Saturdays at 2:30. So hopefully see ads for those if you follow me over on Blue Sky, hopefully sometime next week. And yeah, see all these wonderful people. If nothing else in life, you need good people in it, and these are all good people. So thank you all so much for being here. We're a live VOD YouTube stories, nothing without its audience. You're much part of this as we are. Take care of yourselves and one another, and I'll hopefully see you soon.
Yay. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Please go check those things out. And we are now going to head over to Lynn.
Hey everyone, I'm Lynn, Gremlin Art. Everyone, socials Blue Sky. You can find my art there. And next time you'll see me is actually on Tuesday for Shadow Scar, where we are a reality hopping like bunch of ninjas, and I get to be like a little um former child star current ninja. So that's always fun. And then coming up soon on a Pixar Thursday Forest channel, we're in the process of doing little vignettes with each individual player for our adventure in Greyhawk thing on Sundays at I think it was at 8 o'clock. And we're going to go through the last two of our party members, and it should be a lot of fun. And I love seeing everyone more of what everyone's up to. Man, poor Evie. Ooh, there's so much stuff happening, and just Phineas, we got like, I'm sorry we got this terrible book. This book is just like gonna terrorize us, and all Kenneth wanted was a date, and this is what you have now. Just wanted to have a date.
Yeah. Alas, the building is now swarming with cops, so I'm going to assume,
There's no more. So did you finish? You did finish Dracula, though.
Well, no, that was tonight. It was supposed to be tonight.
Oh no, that was for tonight. Oh, there's
We
not
haven't
gonna be
gotten to that yet.
Dracula. Oh, there's not.
Yeah.
Oh, there's not gonna. Oh,
There was also at the pie shop. Like, I don't know if any of this is going on at the pie shop.
Yeah,
Again,
it's a good question.
You
I don't-
think that underhanded people in the basement of the pie shop would cancel? You would think that.
You would, wouldn't you? Oh no!
there are so many. There are so many police here.
Yeah, or at least try to move the showing. Something. Well, I guess we'll see.
Hey, it'll just transfer it to like it'll help with the atmosphere of the dread atmosphere. It's like
I'm sure. Yeah, keep everyone on their toes. Excellent. I like the what the Sphinx has just said in chat. Make a game out of it. Offload the book and take bets on how long it takes to come back. Excellent. But now let us head over to Danielle.
Everyone, I'm Danielle. Not really doing a whole lot at the moment, but you can follow me on Blue Sky or on Instagram if, books and nerdy things and cosplay and that sort of stuff is your jam. I do a lot of that. I'm really enjoying this game. We're in so much trouble. We're only 2 sessions in. It's great. 10 out of 10, no notes. But I cannot wait to see how much more trouble we get in. Also, I really enjoyed the addition of Jean-Pierre to Evie's cast of assortedly terrible family members today. So that was great. With his spooky cats.
Excellent. And finally, over to Celeste.
Jean-Pierre's cats can do no wrong. You cannot convince me otherwise. Hi, I'm Celeste, with Who Needs a New Plug on Blue Sky. And that's what I should change my Blue Sky name to, Celeste Who Needs a New Plug. That would be a brand, I suppose. And it's one of the brands of all time. Danger. Just danger, concern. Very many concerns, but that's why I'm here. I wanted to be in danger. Sometimes it's not even the monkey paw curling. Sometimes you just get what you ask for. I'm not really doing a whole lot else except for hanging out with Pope on his Saturday night Meridius Heresy game. So please come join us. It's a great time. It's gonna be real great. We're gonna be in danger again. That's really all I have going on in my life right now is danger. But it's great. I love it. Danger and playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. So I'm gonna go learn Thing now. Y'all have a good night.
Excellent, excellent. And once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. So wherever I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. As far as planned stuff, aside from, random video gamery, coming up probably on Thursday, if Lucci is available, we're going to hopefully finish Suspended. We play old text adventure games on alternate Thursdays when we're available. And we are up to Infocom's Suspended, which is basically a game about someone who is frozen, who's been frozen and is revived just enough to be this planetary colony's central mentality. Everything is going wrong with the weather control system, and we have only so much time to get the robots we control to fix things before they replace us with a clone. So hopefully, I feel like we're getting close. We're at the point where we've started looking at the clues now, because we're at that point, because we're at the point we just have to find the right syntax to get things to get into the things we need done. But we've found the seventh robot that was decommissioned, and we're hopefully going to use parts from that robot to help us finally fix the system. We will see what happens. But that will be on Thursday, and then of course Friday, more of this. And I am very excited for us to continue and see what happens. It is glorious. Well, folks, in a moment we're going to go do a raid. We're going to say hi to someone, probably Tales from the Table. They're doing a charity stream for the California fires. So we're most likely going to go say hi to them if we can. Feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. In the meantime, folks, please remember that you are unique, and that's wonderful, because variety is very important. You matter. Please take care of yourselves. Remember, you can absolutely give yourself grace when you need to. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.